Today, it's your hosts, some guy, what's her face, and the guy in the middle. What are their names again? Oh, right. It says it right here in the intro.
It's a good thing we have that. It's very handy.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to ChillPoint, a show where we talk about the week's video gaming news as well as
Whatever we want.
whatever we want.
Yeah,
No
that
one
sounds
can
good.
stop us.
Well,
No one can stop us.
No one should stop us.
no one should stop us. Yes. Also, the episode of ChillPoint that went up yesterday, which if you haven't looked at, you should do that. Although not right now, because right now you're here. And you shouldn't do two things at once.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd never tell anyone that. Unless they're driving.
I mean, I guess
If
but
you
it
you're
was-
driving
it was
a
a
car
little-
right now, turn us off. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was up a little later due to YouTube shenanigans.
Goodness. I mean, that one hit everybody.
It was just YouTube's processing was messed up
Yeah,
for a while.
you could upload the video, but it wouldn't process a video for like hours.
I
Yeah.
bet...
I'm sure whoever actually works there among the robots was having a very stressful day.
Yeah, there is always that aspect where it's like, if we've got a problem on our end, it's, a huge pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if the problem's on YouTube's end, it's still a pain for us. But also there's this knowledge that YouTube is losing literally like hundreds of thousands of dollars every minute.
Yeah.
that problem is happening, so they're going to deal with it.
Well, it's funny because like I bought some sushi and went home, right? When you're busy having this trouble. And I'm like, there's still lots of stuff available on YouTube to watch.
Very supportive.
Oh
of it.
yeah,
Thank
like
you,
the
yeah.
videos that are already up there, and if you like had a video uploaded prior that was already processed,
Got
was
through the
fine.
processing and
but the
everything
moment
else.
you could upload the video,
Yeah.
but it would be stuck in processing for just ever.
Yeah. Though I've never seen what would happen if YouTube actually ran into a problem where their whole processing infrastructure just went down for 3 days. Because
It just wouldn't get new content really.
right, and it'd be kind of amazing though to like go to YouTube and be like, okay, so what is
It's
here?
like-
And you'd be like, well,
like
there's nothing new.
if you just like froze YouTube.
Yeah,
I mean, if you froze YouTube like now,
yeah,
how long would it take before people got bored with the content on it?
right. And
Probably a while.
probably a while. And what's funny too is that it's like I'll see stuff that shows up in my feed that'll be like, this thing's 4 days old, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that's recent, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that's old. It's like I know you put new things out every day. So, because like news channels and stuff put out new things every day, it's like I don't want to watch something that's 4 days old. I want to know what's happening now, and I'm like, yeah, I wonder where you get to a point where maybe even I want to imagine what happens with the algorithm is that it's like that thing's too old, so dump it off of people's front pages, and then slowly what happens is that stuff starts disappearing from people's feeds, and then you turn it into YouTube one day and it's just like recommended, and there's just blank space after blank space, and just like you can see things kind of disappear off the edge, like it's like watching your oxygen meter run out in space. You're kind of like, oh yeah, just everything is slowly disappearing, and then I'm gonna die.
I don't know if
That
that's how it
seems a
works.
little heavy-handed. I would also assume though that the algorithm isn't designed. It's not designed to have things not be on there at all.
No,
Because like,
It probably has something up there.
Yeah.
because like a lot of my my front page is not the most recent stuff.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
stuff from like years prior.
And it'll go deep to try to figure out, it's like, you've watched these things, so what's the thing that you might have watched one time 10 years ago that, you like watching people clean drains? Okay, cool. I got a drain cleaning video from 3 years ago that you could watch. Okay, watch this one.
Anyway, hey everybody, welcome to ChillPoint. Now, there's a very important piece of
Very fresh news.
fresh video gaming stuff going on right now.
Very
that-
important.
That we're gonna find out about right now live. It's very exciting. There's an event in Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
That's correct.
Happening right now that Beige is going to demonstrate for us, and assuming this is still connected and working,
It looks like it is.
we can look at
Beach, can I ask you what month it is?
It is the month of Meh.
meh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
They're celebrating Gudetama for the entire month, or for a piece of the month anyway. And so part of that is to have giant eggs that you can crack open, and then you'll get yolk from it. You'll get yolk from that egg. But there's also this giant shrine, which, awesome.
Shrine to lazy egg guy.
Yep. I would be afraid of sunburn on the resort beach, but not Nisetama-san. This is good, because I'm trying to find Nisetama-san, who is, I guess, a friend of Gudetama-san. Right, so if you have yolks, I can trade them for things. I get an armchair, or I could get like any of these other things. I'm gonna get that bed.
I feel like when you have this problem, the problem with setting this up around the egg guy,
This lazy egg, yeah.
yeah, is that it's sort of antithetical to be like, do this quest.
Oh, wow. You found him quick.
I found him right away.
So
The quest is I have to find, you can see it above my head, find Nisetama and take a selfie with him.
this is the human representation of egg yolk. What?
I guess.
Sure. Why not?
Oh, you can make him turn around. Great.
Oh, he's got a.
He's a caked up wizard. Let's see here. Can I get him to do it again? I'm going to pick up that comic while I'm at it. Will he turn around? Will he turn around?
I don't think he wants to turn around now that you've brought it up.
Oh. Damn it. All right. Oh, he kind of turned a
He
bit
does
there.
kind of look like Tingle, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He's got a kind of
A
similar
little
vibe.
bit.
Similar vibe.
So, you can take a selfie in this game, and you can organize everything
With
you
this
want.
person who has not at all looks like Hello Kitty characters.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost like a me.
And
Like
then
a very base me.
take a picture.
Was this guy a previously known Hello Kitty character?
I have no idea who this
Yeah.
guy is. And then
Yay! Whoop! And he's gone.
he's gone, and I get a yolk and a Mystic Stone and a Hello Kitty box, because that was Hello
What?
Kitty's
Wait,
thing.
where did the yolk come from?
I don't know.
What part of
I'm
that
not-
man was the yolk?
Not sure.
actually know.
Not sure we want to know the answer to that question.
That's I don't like that.
But it was very, very important
Track that. I'll keep that in mind.
as an egg-related thing.
Yep. Want to show this
That,
happening.
that everybody know about this. I particularly wanted our mods to know about this for secret reasons.
That's it. So that's part of the celebration today. Nisetama-san means fake egg, and it's a young man dressed in a yellow suit. So there you go. Yeah. So, that's going on right now.
So that was
The hottest news on ChillPoint.
boom. New news on ChillPoint.
There's another egg. Giant egg.
And now we have to try to get Beach to turn his phone off.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. Don't worry.
So let's get into some of the other stuff that happened on. Nice save.
Definitely do not want to keep mirroring my phone to the
Yeah,
the
not
feed.
forever.
Yeah. God, the phone got so hot from doing that. That ain't good.
Yeah, and we're in the chill place, so we can't do that.
Let's talk about the episode of ChillPoint. We started with this story about Walmart in Roblox. Two terrible tastes
goodness,
that taste terrible together.
I hated everything about that
Like
story.
toothpaste and orange juice.
Yeah, well, except the orange juice is good by
Yeah.
itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Walmart is doing this like in-game store thing, and where you, at the moment, it appears to be you're like buying digital things for your
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, you walk into a virtual Walmart.
Yeah.
You walk into Walmart land.
But then you can also view, the like Walmart land with the Walmart logo as like a Ferris wheel. Yeah, that's kind of creepy.
Nope.
That's like straight out of Ready Player One or
it's very by and large from
or
Pixar.
yeah.
Yeah.
or the
It actually looked an awful lot like Zuck's Metaverse. Like when they were showing that off, it looked very
Yeah.
cartoony and very kind of like bouncy and fluffy, and I'm kind of like, oh, don't do that, no.
Or like the second Wreck-It Ralph movie where
Oh,
they go to
yeah.
the internet. Yeah. Yeah, it's just annoying. But one thing I was thinking, like, one thing we noticed here is, you go in and you associate your credit card with this thing to buy stuff, because Walmart, they ain't playing with no Robux.
No.
Walmart is not. Walmart's, they're bigger than Roblox, and they're like,
Yeah, we ain't
yeah,
doing that.
You think you can scam us with that bullshit?
Yeah, no.
We're the ones who scam people with bullshit.
That's kind of surprising too. That's like because I know we make the gag down below, like at the end. That's kind of like, oh, you're working 8 hours a day farming Robux to feed your family, and it's like, right, but Walmart probably won't take your Robux at all. They're like, no, you spend that shit on Roblox. What we want is cold hard cash, cold hard credit. We don't give a shit if you run up your credit. You want buy a Walmart MasterCard, let us charge you interest. That's what we want.
Yeah, and I saw I think some in the comments was talking about work that said there's somebody who works at Walmart.
Yes.
And apparently it's just Walmart's already, because like I know, because I don't know if I've ever actually bought something with it, but I've used, like, if you go to like the Walmart's website,
Yes.
they do that thing where their online catalog is Walmart and also
Marketplace.
50 billion other marketplace things that aren't actually Walmart.
So glad I
Yeah.
never worked at Walmart when the app was
So there's
no.
there's a huge amount of stuff on the Walmart online catalog that isn't either isn't in the Walmart physical store or isn't even sold by Walmart.
Yeah.
And apparently, according to people working at Walmart, that has caused a huge amount of problems. And I can't imagine. I would imagine the Roblox thing isn't going to make it any better.
When you work,
Yes,
when
we
you
see
work
you.
when you work at a store, you have some people have access to the inventory list of how many of that item is supposed to be in the store, but the inventory isn't necessarily up to date because there's they call it like shrinkage or whatever, but it's like theft or if something's been misscanned because maybe it comes in two colors and the one barcode wasn't working, so you do whatever. Because stores have to do an inventory check on usually a yearly basis to get that. So the back end is a lie. So when you go onto a website and you're like, oh, yes, because I've done this with like London Drugs and stuff, and you're like, yes, I would like to purchase this thing. And they're like, great, we'll send you an email when you can come pick it up. You do run the risk of they might send you back an email saying, actually, that's out of stock.
Yeah. Actually,
Or
what
they
you'll probably
can't
get
find
back is just order canceled.
Or I've
but
definitely
it's like that. But
yeah.
it's not the back end inventory system isn't necessarily 100% accurate or in a place where you can find those things.
But at least I know that if I ask somebody, is like, do you have any of this? Like, no, we don't have any on the floor. I'm like, well, could you go check in the back? I know that by asking them that, what I'm actually doing is I'm saying, I'm sorry I've asked you this question. Go take a 5-minute break on my behalf. I realize that now. I get it. And go enjoy your break. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I mean, generally, when I worked at Walmart, because you get the person who'd ask if it was in the back, and a lot of us in the section we were in would kind of have an idea if it was or not, or if it was even accessible, because sometimes the way stuff is packed, you can't necessarily access it. And if you say no, and they're like, well, I don't believe you, go check in the back anyway, that's when we go take the 10-minute break.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the one where, like, especially with like London Drugs or company places like that where it is sort of the physical inventory, and you're like, you need like whatever some particular batteries or a medication or something, right?
Throwing stars.
And
whatever.
you're there like in the aisle, looking at the thing empty.
Yes.
Like looking at the thing empty and then looking at your phone and being like, we have 5 of those.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
is there some secret place I don't know about,
'Cause when
or
it's-
is this?
When it's 1 or maybe even 2, I'm kind of like if it's dental floss, I'm like, okay, I understand you're going to be off by 1 or 2. But if it says we have 15, I'm like, hang on, is it on an end cap? Is it moved to a different part of the store?
We had one day at Walmart where one of the codes wasn't scanning on like a specific flavor of Mentos, and all of us were scanning a completely different flavor for the whole day. Those counts were definitely off by a huge amount of numbers.
Yeah.
It's more of the fact that you do get people who come in and they're like, well, it says there's one, so you have to have one.
Yeah,
Like
oh, yeah.
the inventory system is flawless or something. You're like, it's
like,
not.
Yeah. The computer can't be lying, so that must mean you are.
I do like to. I mean, what I normally actually do these days is if I don't see it out, I'm like, I can't find it. Is it somewhere else? And they're like, it should be in that location. Be like, is there a chance there are any more in the back? And if they're like, no, we've already put all of our inventory on the floor, I just leave it right there.
Yeah, and
Like,
that's fine.
It's like I don't want to make you go look because I'm like, Like, I know sometimes it's night stalking people who are the ones who are fucking over the day staff. I get that, but still.
Oh, I've had that. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like as somebody like I haven't worked, retail.
Yeah.
Or in that sort of situation of the like stocking shelves or something, but I feel like to the public, the back is this kind of mystical realm.
Yes.
Where literally anything could be there.
It's L space, yeah.
It's like it's like could you go check in the back, or especially it's like when you like get like shoes, and they're like, I'll go check, and then they go away and they come back and they have like the shoes.
Yeah, they do.
And it's like what other shoes do you have there? It's like you can't no you can't look. You just have to tell me. I'll go back and talk to the wizard.
Yeah.
And the wizard
We'll conjure up a 9.5 in double wide.
In the case of something like shoes, they're supposed to have essentially, like especially like a shoe store, right? They have the display pairs out. They only have so much floor space. You look at what shoes you want to buy, and they go grab you their size for you to try on.
Yeah.
It's different. Or like there's certain stores where if it's a high end new popular like game or something, you might actually have to go to the customer service counter to buy it instead of off on the floor because they've put them all over there for now.
This is kind of the fun I have of shopping at like Winners or HomeSense or shopping at like Costco, where you are effectively walking through the warehouse.
Yeah,
I like that.
Do you have this? Do you see it? No. Then we don't have it.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I can respect that.
Yeah.
One of my most hated things about working the retail, like a store where you have to stock shelves, that's not customer related, is if the packaging of an item changed and it changed the dimensions slightly, because those things are set up for everything to fit on the shelf very firmly and whatever. And then when you get a new piece of packaging and it's just slightly too wide, then that's when your shelves
or it's got like a weird bevel on it, so it doesn't stack properly.
It doesn't actually
anymore.
work that way, or you can't like stack them too high. Just that. No, people should not be allowed to change their packaging.
Texan, we do have the same shoe size.
Ooh.
Yes. He hasn't even told me what his is.
Oh.
But I just know that it is.
Wow.
Because I said mine out loud.
Oh, did you steal his shoes one day?
I did not know.
I know you've run into him before. Is that how like you've done things? You just steal people's shoes?
It's
now?
just by the virtue of asking, do we have the same shoe size? I'm like, why wouldn't I just say yes?
Don't judge anybody until you've walked a mile in their shoes.
Now
and then
yeah,
you're a mile away and you have their shoes.
Yeah.
And they're never going to catch up to you at that point.
Yeah.
Walk across broken glass while you're at it. You got their shoes.
I hope they're good shoes.
Of course, the downside of working in a place like Winners, though, is that do you see it? No, I don't see it either, because I don't know where it might have ended up. Because we have had 100 customers come through here today, and any one of them could have touched that shirt and moved it to 4 different locations in the store, and we will never find out whether that thing actually is around or not.
Winners was the worst for that shit. Oh,
Yeah.
I hated that one.
Yeah, pick up a shirt off of a thing and then walk over to like the men's boxer
Nobody
section so they
puts
hang it
clothes
back up over there.
on the thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather work at Walmart than
Yeah.
work at Winners Ever again.
And you've worked at
Oh,
both.
Yeah, I have.
All right. So it sucks that you know.
So
Well, at least Walmart and Roblox are saying, "Hey, let's get together." I'm like, "Great, you move off to your own little section of the world, so I don't have to deal with that shit. Stop trying to bake
Yeah.
your shit into my shit, right?"
I mean, yeah. I guess I guess this is. I mean, you know, considering that you shouldn't be playing Roblox anyway, maybe this isn't that big a deal. It's
No.
like at least Walmart isn't infiltrating like something that's actually like, you know, good.
Yeah, it's true.
It's one of those things where you're like, oh, you hear nothing. You're like, oh, Roblox. It's like Minecraft or something, right? Because
Yeah.
reasons. And it's like, sure. And then you read up on it. You're like, oh my goodness, no. And then someone's like, oh, but have you also heard this other terrible thing? You're like, why?
Yeah. Stardew Valley Cookbook, which is super fun and adorable.
I liked that you. I liked that you had that graphic for Beach about
Yeah.
the Fortnite cookbook. No, not Fortnite. Sorry, Fallout.
Fallout.
They both
Cookbook.
start with F.
That was very funny. Heather
Yeah.
got blamed for that.
Heather got blamed for that.
For the note. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. They thought Heather added that note. So now Heather
Yeah.
only does what happens in the after show. She adds all the snide
Yeah, I
comments
do the
there.
editing. I don't put snide comments in the scripted portion of the
That's
show.
Paul's
because
job.
That's Paul's job.
I
I
feel
get
like
to add them in the after show if I feel spicy that day.
yeah.
So it's Paul's fault.
It's well, and that was just straight up because like from doing ChillPoint for so many years, I know that the video game tie-in cookbook is a thing,
It's a really neat thing. It's one of my favorite tie-ins,
Yeah.
honestly.
and so when you say that in the thing, I was like, I wonder if that is a thing. And I looked and I looked it up and it was like, oh yeah, there is one, and I was like. Looking at the context here, I bet Beej did not look that up.
I will tell you though that when I typed it, I was like, I bet there is one. But probably not yet. There's probably one that's been announced because of the TV show. I'm just gonna go on the fact that there probably isn't one. Sure, that seems like a safe bet.
Yeah.
So it's 2 fuck ups in one episode is pretty good for me. So we'll get to the second one in a minute.
But yeah, I like they talked about that because of course there's lots of there's all sorts of cooking and stuff in Stardew Valley, but being the video game, it's simplified, and so you make cake you take flour and egg, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or whatever.
Yep.
Uh,
I love cooking in video games. It's
and
always
so, yeah,
weird.
Spiritfarer is particularly good for that.
Oh, what do they do for theirs?
Well, it's just you have it's like you combine 2 ingredients together, and then or sometimes 3 ingredients, and so it's like if it's a meat and a thing, like sometimes you just get it's a curry, like meat, any kind of meat and rice. You made a curry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like so, it's
Or
very
it's like,
simplified.
different. There's all these different.
I like the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom one because it's like you throw those ingredients in a pot that you can see. So it's like the entire bottle of milk is just there, and then somehow when it's done, you have a plate and other things, right?
There's got to be a Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom cookbook.
Not an official one.
Really?
I do have the unofficial one.
Yeah.
It is very lavish.
And Goron
It's got
spice,
so much food
which is
stuff in
just
it.
curry powder.
They have a beautiful looking monster cake, which you can tell is clearly just purple fondant on the outside of what the cake actually is, but it's been beautifully decorated.
But the it's the way I've seen a couple of fun, like extremely knowledgeable, talented cooks and bakers like on YouTube.
Yeah.
They'll do like, I'm gonna make a cake with the recipe that Minecraft uses to make a cake, and it's like, can you make a cake
Out of
that
dirt
only
and
has
diamonds.
only has like these 3 ingredients?
Yeah.
in it? It's like,
Sometimes,
nah,
not the one that
really.
they make.
I mean,
Generally,
well, that was the thing about pink cake, right? Is that, or not pink cake in this. There's so one of the things that you would make, there's like a watermelon strawberry thing. I can't remember what it was again, but they're like, you can't make, maybe it was pink cake. You can make pink cake out of like flour and sugar and melon and something, and or and an egg, right? And it's like, that is pink cake, and it's like, right, but it's not. You can't actually just make a cake out of those 4 ingredients. But what we can do is we can take 4 similar ingredients, and we can make watermelon strawberry jam. And so that's kind of what is also in the Stardew Valley cookbook. Is it's like there are some variations on some recipes to try to keep it simple, to try to like feel like the same thing. But why? I guess it's that sense of like, why make another cake when what we could do is try to do something fun and different that you maybe didn't expect. But we can also still do like Lucky Lunch is literally, it's like shrimp ceviche on a salad, and then we took a tortilla and we cut out a 5-pointed star, and then guess they fried it and put it on top, and that's how they make Lucky Lunch.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of course that's the other thing, is that not only in video games, not only are the ingredients very simple, but the presentation at the end is usually incredibly elaborate.
Yes. Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, this is it's a fun idea, and I'm glad they do it. I love that there's actually stuff in the book that's like the character in the game that you would make that and make that food and give to in order to like increase your
friendship,
your friendship with that person. That character will have like a little thing in the cookbook for like, oh, I love this thing. Like the fact that the person writing the cookbook clearly knows a lot about the actual game and
well,
there's that context.
The cover of the book said it was by Concerned Ape, and I can't remember the person's name, so
Barton.
I'm assuming as well, like
Ryan Barton?
that a lot of the Stardew Valley facts probably came from the person who made Stardew Valley.
Yeah, but it's just it's that
the collaboration essentially.
Yeah, but caring enough to do that, I like.
I feel like if you want to make a good video game cookbook, or like something that's of the game but kind of a side thing that's not in the game, you almost have to do that if you want to get the audience that you're aiming for.
They have to be ghost-written to some extent. Like it's like you have to have somebody who is like, we have a chef who is putting this together, and they're having fun doing it, and now we need to involve
like a person who can actually test the recipes, and it's making sure that those recipes are good. But
it's not ghost-written, it's just collaboratively.
Yeah, I don't know how much Concerned Ape might have been involved with writing the recipes for it, but I'm sure in a lot of ways it's like, well, I'll do all this work, and then when this stuff is ready, if you can give me some additional blurbs. And
they had the person's name on the cover.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah.
I just don't remember the name.
Yeah,
it's in the graphic.
Someone's going to tell us who it is, I'm sure. Ryan Novak.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so the next story to talk about is this Tarkov whole situation.
Whole shenanigans, yeah.
Kerfuffle, perhaps.
Shitstorm. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we want to be nice about it, or
hullabaloo? Yeah. So, Graham went over it pretty thoroughly. This idea of, people in the comments were laughing at it too, because it's like this idea of, no, this is not DLC. This is a new game feature.
Yep.
And it's like, is it content? Are you downloading it?
Yeah, I do think the idea of what makes DLC versus just game content and what can be an interesting conversation. It's not going to be part of that one.
It's like, I don't think,
It's interesting too, right? Because like a new series of missions. I'm going to come at this from the Zelda context, maybe, or from like a lot of other games. Let's start there, right? The Breath of the Wild had a DLC pack it's a whole series of brand new missions with a bunch of like extra cool things that you can get as well, right? Get the motorcycle that way, and that was a whole new chunk of the game, more of the game that we have put into the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Some games will be like, oh, we have worked on this game. We're doing a new update, and with that update is a boss rush mode. or you can
Yeah.
play as this brand new character, and then there's those things of like, okay, those feel like DLC. The boss rush is not essential to playing the game at all. It is a new game mode, so we'll
Yeah,
kind of like
I
the
mean,
way
it's
PvE
one of those
is.
weird things where it really does depend on the dev in the end, right? Some of those things are things that you buy for an additional whatever.
Yeah.
Some of them, they just show up for free as part of an update because it's a thing they've been working on. Maybe
Yeah.
it was something they promised at the beginning of the game because a lot of those games are also kickstarted and whatnot.
But so many games that are built like this, that are like PvP games, that have a PvE mode. Splatoon is an example. It's like that the PvE mode, significant, like a simple set of missions meant to help teach you the game that you can play on your own before you can go into the PvP if that's what you want to do, came with the game at launch. And so many of those PvE modes tend to be those things where it's like, this is a thing that comes with the game at launch.
From what I understand, the PvE mode, like, so how Tarkov works is like it's PvP, but it's PvP VE. Like
There are enemies as well.
like there are scavs, which are the scavengers,
right.
that are AI controlled, running around, as well as other players.
Yeah.
Who are either players or players can also play scavs as well. So it's like, from what I understand, the PvE mode is just it's offline,
Right.
and it's explicitly there's no
player.
other players except, I think it's like you can team up with, like, you can like have like
your own squad.
have
and
your
do
own
thing.
squad just playing PvE, I think is the idea.
I feel like because then saying that's like, oh, we've added that into the game. I'm like, well, all you did is okay. I'm gonna be shitty about this because I know that it's not all you did, but in essence, it is all you did was chop off a piece of the game that already exists. You said it's gonna be PvPE. We're gonna chop off that middle P, and we're just gonna have that be the thing. I don't know what else they had to do to develop that or make that work in that way.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know enough. The one thing that they talked about though is that, like, part of the reason why, or one of the reasons that they have given why they don't just open this up to everybody,
Right.
or why part of the reason why there is this, even with this like 6 month thing where they're like, okay, everyone will get PV, or the people with this previous pack will get PvE for 6 months, but not yet.
Right.
They will get it. Is that they've literally sold so many of these Edge of Darkness packs that if all of those people were to go onto the PvE, they don't have the server.
That's believable, I
do it.
guess. Yeah.
Which I guess is believable. Although, again, from what I understand, I thought the idea was that the PvE could be like offline, but maybe not, or maybe it's still they have to run more of the AIs to do it or something.
I
don't know.
get like at least the anger of it, because if you bought a version that said you're going to get all the DLC that keeps coming because of this pack that you're buying, and that's kind of what it gives this implication that you kind of feel like, well, most of what they're going to be making for this going forward, unless they decide to make a new game, is going to be DLC, right? Like,
And it's the. I mean, the other question is like, this is my lack of knowledge about Escape from Tarkov. What have they released that they consider DLC? Like, has the you get all future DLC thing actually kicked in ever? Like, is there something that the people who had that pack got that nobody else did, or people that other people had to pay for?
oh right, yeah. No, Graham brought up Tarkov Rita, and
That was free to play.
Was it its own game, or was it?
It was its own game.
It wasn't even deal, because I mean,
No, it wasn't?
Jum's saying it's DLC.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
paid. Okay.
yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
if it's Joe Kim, I definitely expect that he's probably played and knows.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't want to touch Tarkov.
And I guess
This is not my kind of genre.
in the means by which they've always developed the game, if they're saying, well, we're going to make a PvE mode, this is fascinating, because also hearing like what you're saying and hearing the chat mirror a lot of that too, that's like, right, if they didn't develop the game to be PvE first and then develop a multiplayer system on top of that. They said the game works like X in this way, and now we're trying to make it work where you're not allowing other people into whatever instance you're playing on, because it's just going to be you guys versus the scavs. it's like, right, there, you are introducing, like you're going to need multiple instances, way more instances than you've ever needed before, because now you can't have everybody sharing, as people I've seen in the chat say, you can't have them sharing a shard. You can't have them sharing a piece of that. More like 10 players or 40 players or whatever sharing that. It's like I have 5, and now I need to spin up a new one every single time a new 5 people get in there. I'm like,
I guess
that does seem like a lot. But if that is the case, then it feels like if they're giving it, who are they giving it out to? Because if you're buying the EOD edition, you spend a bunch of money on that, but they don't get to have PvE.
no, you get that if you buy the Edge of Darkness edition, which is like the newer one. Because
No.
I don't think
No, Edge of Darkness was the original one. The
Was
new
it the
one is
original?
the Unheard edition.
Unheard. Sorry.
So you're buying
yes.
a brand new edition of
It's
something.
understandable if you
uh,
hadn't heard of it.
Yeah, the EOD version, they don't sell anymore. Didn't they
Yes.
stop? Yeah, they stopped selling that one, and now they have this new
And-
one, and it's like $100 more expensive even.
Right. And not only did they
Okay.
stop selling the EOD version, but they did like a big hypey, like, we're gonna stop selling it. You better get it now.
Oh right, yeah.
Which is also a little
I
sketchy.
mean, I believe
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was trying to search down because yeah, as people in the comments have pointed out, the idea that the PvE thing would be offline doesn't really make any sense in the context of how Tarkov works. But and so I was like, yeah, that's true. It doesn't make sense. Where did I read? And I went back and looked at one of the things that the Trifender, which is the guy from the
Team.
Tarkov development team,
Okay.
posted on Reddit being like, to honor the what they're going to give to EOD people to compensate for this. They're giving them all this stuff, and they're saying high priority matching for EOD owners for 6 months, access to offline PvE for EOD owners for 6 months. So yeah, I don't know what that means.
It's interesting, right? Because like if what they're doing is saying we're gonna
Yeah.
you want PvE just PvE.
It says, yeah, access to offline PvE for EOD owners. And then he says temporary access to PvE will be provided as soon as we reinforce the server infrastructure of that particular game mode to a wider audience. So if it's offline, they shouldn't have to reinforce their server structure. So clearly there's some sort of
There's
meaning
an
of the word
online-
offline that I'm not.
I think it's because I'm not really sure what how they slice and dice access to their game, because I kind of don't care, and I'm sorry to say, but I kind of don't care. But it's like the way that this sounded was that there was a base game, there was the Edge of Darkness, and then there was this new thing, the Unheard.
Yeah.
And it sounded like, oh, you bought Edge of Darkness because when this thing didn't exist, because it had all these extra cool things that you could get in it. Okay, rad. You did that. You bought that. That was cool for you to have. Hey, hurry up and buy it all, as you just said. And then they say, we're making a new version that's going to have PvE. Also, we're going to give PvE to everybody who has a base model of the game. That's how it sounded to me, was like, we're giving PvE to people who have the base game, the free-to-play base, whatever. I have no fucking clue how this works.
It's not
again.
free to play, but yeah.
Well, whatever it is, like, it's early access, so it's right, it's not free. Anyway, but it's like, if you just buy that and you don't buy any of the extra shit beyond it, then you were getting it, and that also then the Unheard was getting it, but we're not going to give it to EOD because there's a whole ton of you now. We know exactly how many there are, and we don't want you in that because we're trying to do this other thing. That's what I thought was being argued here.
The base model doesn't get it either.
They don't get it either.
The only people who are going to get the PvE were the $250 people.
Right.
Yeah.
And the PvE as a mode was something that people have been asking for a really long time.
Okay.
So it coming out, but then only in this $250 version.
Yeah.
was
But it's like,
that sort of
but that's
kick in
like
the
being
pants.
like, I bought the King I am the King now because I bought the King edition of the game and I am the King. It's like, cool. We're releasing the Emperor edition next week.
Yeah.
Emperor edition gets all these extra things, but I am the King. It's like, you are the
Yeah,
King, but there's
I
going to be an
think-
Emperor soon.
I think that's why a lot of people are angry. It kind of sounds to me like mostly, like, especially if they end up opening up that mode to everyone eventually. It kind of sounds like what you're paying for is privilege, like just
Yeah.
early access and doing things. And
If there's something that an Emperor has, it's privilege.
yeah. And then, so, then they did the bunch of stuff. Again, my lack of knowledge of how Tarkov is played betrays, but to my to my sort of perception, the idea that one of the things that they've said, okay, to make it up to the Edge of Darkness players, we're gonna let you summon tanks.
Yeah. It's a little weird. Yeah.
Seems like from everything I've seen of people playing Tarkov, it's like, hide and sneak and do all this stuff. Just somebody just coming in a tank seems very unfair.
Yeah. Casting their cutie wand to the sky and going, I summon tank, and then a tank appears around them and they just roll on through people.
Yeah. But so anyway, and then the people who have that edition and are getting that ability are like, no, we don't want that.
Yeah.
We don't, because that's just now it's just pay to win, and
summon your friends into raid upgrade. Oh yeah,
that
would be a big point of contention. Because you want to play with your friends. That's
And and we always were laughing at James when he was playing Tarkov and talking about how it's just basically playing Tetris in your inventory. They also get much bigger inventory.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It looking at it, it seems like I can understand why people are angry. So a lot of stuff gets picked apart. I have a little bit of sympathy for some of the quotes, because my understanding is that English might not be like the first language, so we might be getting a translation.
There might be a little bit.
So that's not to say what he's saying isn't worth criticizing, just that the harshness in which some stuff is being said might sound harsher the way it's being translated.
And there's a lot to be said about, any sort of communication with a larger base of people. That's like, because if your job is a thing that, you have a small audience for, like you work in you're a power engineer working for a brewery or something, right?
Sounds like they aren't ready for the size of audience they do have.
Yeah, it's like when you work for when we work for a group with a small kind of focus, it's like that's the impact I have is on like just the people who are kind of around me, and that's it. You work in a job like we have, you work in a job like they have. It's like you have a much larger audience of people who are paying a lot of attention to the work that you're doing, and now all of a sudden you have to be a lot more sensitive to communication. And messaging becomes important.
Yeah, and you do end up with these situations where we've done lots of stories about it, where this is not like that. The guy that was posting on Reddit isn't the marketing director.
Yeah, that's
the COO of the company.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes you get these situations where either the guy from the company or there was something quite recently about one of the developers of a thing antagonized people, different things like that, where I probably shouldn't say this, but everybody who plays this game is an asshole.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you shouldn't have said that.
This feels to me like that meme where it's like, I'm upset at how can you say this, whatever, we're working really hard to do this, and there's all these things and going on and on, selling the whole thing, and then it's like, Mariko, the Anjin is sorry you have this feeling.
Yeah.
Is sorry you are having feelings.
Anyway.
That might just be down to some
translation is very
clumsy translation.
Difficult,
true.
Because even if you do accurate translation, there's nuances. There's all sorts of things.
Even if they're speaking English themselves.
Yeah.
They might not be getting it exactly right.
I was going to say we've had lots of problems. We've done stories about similar foot and mouth things from English developers, so that's not necessarily like an exclusive.
No, I'm just saying it might come off a little harsher than intended due to word choices, and that's just part of communication that sucks.
And that sometimes happens with Japanese developers and stuff too. You get weird translation things.
There's no one I feel sorrier for than a person who has to be on stage with another person trying to translate, because the more words they say is the more words they have to remember to translate and then say after them and pay attention, and they are doing that all in their head. That's a real talent. That is a really hard job.
Yeah, and if you're trying to do it in real time too, then you have to be I have to be sure that the words that I say are not exactly the words that they're saying. Perhaps they have to be very, very close. They have to Because if I
You have to get the message across, not
Exactly.
necessarily word for word.
yeah.
But let's not delve into translation versus localization.
Yeah.
I was just actually thinking about one of my. There's a great just series of clips I saw of Jackie Chan, and because I think the combination of that, I mean, he speaks fine English, but it's his second language,
Yeah.
and so there's slight word choice differences, and also, I mean, he's a very talented guy who's been in the industry for many, many years, and he's also an older person who doesn't really care that much about necessarily. So there's some of his answers being really blunt about
Yeah.
people ask him like, what do you think about this like new action star, and he's like, I don't think they're very good, or something like that.
They're not impressive.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're starting a beef. Yeah.
And it's like it's like that maybe that sentiment would have been expressed by another actor, but maybe it wouldn't have been quite so blunt.
Yep. Yep.
But anyway, let's move on to the Razer Zephyr.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
The Razer face mask that was unfortunately not actually able to do the kind of filtering that they said it would.
Yeah. The Razer Zephyr doesn't care about N95. The funny thing also too, I did some head math. If they're getting about $1 million out of them in total revenue, and it's $130 roughly, right, per purchase, that means they sold about 10,000 masks. So keep that in mind while we talk about this.
It's the and this is actually something that took me a little bit to realize during the pandemic, is the whole N95 or whatever designation, being the point being the device is N95.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a square of denim,
Mm-hmm.
that isn't pants.
Yes. Thank you, Paul.
That is the material that you use to make pants.
It is the material you use specifically to make denim jeans.
Yeah.
Which I will also point out, jeans are not necessarily made out of denim.
No.
Right. But
Usually made it a twill.
like if you have
Or
if
jean
you have
material, which is denim-like.
Right.
if you have like jean material, that's not jeans, right? And so they talk on the website very they're very careful, even in like the early version of the website.
Yeah.
Like the mask filters, it says made of N95 material,
Yes.
which is probably true.
Yep.
As in the material that they used is the material that you use in an N95 mask.
Yeah, the filter itself.
But
Oh, your sweater's cashmere because it's got 4% cashmere in it.
Yeah. But when you put the mask on and you have filters, it's like the filters aren't the thing that are actually providing the protection. The mask is the thing that's trying to provide you protection. If you took that filter off and you solely breathed through that filter back and forth, you pinched your nose, you only breathe through the filter would have done a better job than the whole mask did, because the mask was not doing its job properly, which is to seal.
like for instance, somebody who has a beard, like an N95 mask is not an N95 mask if you wear it where you have a beard.
Yeah.
You can't wear it like that. It doesn't seal properly. There's no way to do it. That's just how it worked. For a while, I thought I would have to shave because the requirements were getting higher and higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are people who, in their jobs, wear like maybe oxygen masks or certain things for safety.
Yeah.
And they're required to shave.
Yeah.
Because it impedes the seal.
And now they're not. An N95 mask isn't worse than a regular mask if you have a beard, but it doesn't give you N95 protection.
And I know that Texan is in the chat, and is very well known for having extensive information about who has and who hasn't tested what to be N95, the quality of those things, the comfort of the fit. I have tried on many masks that Texan has given me as well, and they all do have a different kind of feel, and the way they feel on my face feels really good. So I know that stuff exists, and there's a lot of different masks for a lot of different reasons as a result.
Yes, this mask lit up with lights.
Yes.
To show your real gamer self off, I guess.
And to make it, and it was accessible because it had a clear face on it.
The clear face,
no matter how weird that felt and looked, that was still handy for people who wanted to be able to read your lips. I like that. When I'm in a place and somebody's wearing a mask and talking to me, I realize I do have trouble hearing them through the plastic and not being able to use their lips as a means of figuring out what the hell's going on. I'm finding I'm looking at people's mouths more these days than I am.
And there were, I think
else.
there were other masks you could get that had a see-through thing. I don't know.
Yeah, people
if they were like how good they were. I assumed they were good. I didn't grab any of those.
Yeah, I know there were people did make masks that had a see-through panel in them, but the problem is you can't really make a see-through panel that is like also filtering, so it would be like you couldn't breathe through that part.
No.
Yeah.
So you have to do it as a respirator.
So but like again, like when you look at the product, I mean, I know they advertised that it was N95, and that's the issue of the whole story.
Yes.
But if they had just said, hey, we're selling this mask and it has lights and you can see through the window and stuff, what it says to me is, here's a weird light up prop for your stream because you want to be able to see your mouth while you're streaming and you want to do whatever, but you wouldn't it's not, a top hat is not a safety hat, but it's still a hat, right?
If they'd put like a microphone in there.
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe they could have had a product,
and then they could have had they could have made it with like cat ears, and the ears could be speakers. So when you spoke into the microphone,
you can get
cat
ear headphones that have those as speakers. I think they're really bad in terms of their quality, but you can get those.
I'm saying that
I think Razer might even make them.
Sure, just get one of those. What is her name again? Celti, the Doulahan from Durarara. Just get a big motorcycle helmet that seals your entire head off, that has big cat ears on it, and then just have that all wired up so you could just talk to people. They can hear you out of the thing just fine.
Yeah, probably would be more effective. More effective than that mask was.
Walking around with like an 8-pound thing on your head. This is my mask that I wear currently still. This is cloth. It is 2 pieces of cloth. It's nice cotton cloth on like terry kind of thing on my face, and then this more polyester looking thing there. And when I find them, I tend to put the particulate filters inside the thing, so in the pocket. This is not an N95 mask, but it is a mask that I wear when I go out to do things because I don't want to carry around an N95 mask with me all the time, and because I know I'm just going to ruin it. This I can keep washing over and over.
Yeah, we wear the more heavy duty masks in like more crowded areas or like airports and things.
I also think it's important to wear a mask to signal to the surrounding world that it's like, hey, we didn't actually say the pandemic was over. A lot of us are just making the assumption that it is over. We should still be thinking about the fact that COVID's still out there.
There's definitely some people who said it and they were wrong.
Yeah. But this thing,
liars.
So what I got wrong, Food and Drug Administration.
Oh, not Federal Drug Administration.
And somebody pointed that out. They're like, hey, it's funny because Last Week Tonight did a show recently where they had called it the Federal Drug Administration as well. Oh. And I'm like, that's probably why I did that, because I know it's the Food and Drug Administration.
I believe they brought it up in like the next episode themselves too.
And I'm like, that must be why I messed it up, is because I was still thinking Federal Drug Administration in my head, even though I looked at it and was like, that's not right. No, that's right. That's fine. And I just kind of went with it. I'm like, yeah. So I messed that up. That was my second mess up for the show.
Yeah. And then
everything else was perfect. There was no mess ups, and I definitely didn't cut anything.
And then Jackbox is coming out with the Jackbox Naughty Pack. We don't know what that actually means at this point. Whether it's going to be like just new questions for their game, for existing games.
I mean, from what I could tell from the partial ad that shows during that part, it means you get to date a cardboard box, which I don't need to do. I have many of those at home already.
She's married to a cardboard box.
Am I? I wasn't on this form.
I'm implying I am the cardboard box.
Yes.
They and as you know, as people mentioned in the comments, both of that video and of ChillPoint, not only we made the joke that I wasn't aware that you had to ask their permission to be lewd if you've seen any of our Jackbox streams. But also, like, it's not like, I mean, yeah, you can get however you want with it, but like the questions that are already in it can sometimes be, not, shall we say, family friendly. That's already in the game. So yeah, who knows what they'll do. So
I will assume, I'll just speculate. Why don't we do a little of that? That's fun. I assume that it'll be the prompts that are supposed to be the lewd part, and that you're supposed to do with the prompt what you will. Like, that it will be something, if it's because you can't make TKO lewd because TKO just asks you to do a thing. But you can make TKO lewd if you seed the suggestions for drawings as like, well, draw for me, and it's like, great, there's a dick, like just do that kind of thing. And I'm like, if it means that all they do is they change the seeds or they change the prompts or whatever to just be lewd, but it's the same games overall, that's where I think that they're going with that. I don't think they've designed new sexy games for this.
I would assume maybe they just change out the prompts. Maybe there is one or two games that they make that are new, that are more geared towards that.
Yeah.
I refuse to think you can't make any of those games lewd or otherwise based on any of the times I've seen any of you play.
Oh yeah. I mean, what I'm hoping to do is to see if we do end up playing the naughty pack, how straight can I play it? Like how completely deadpan and not lewd could I make stuff? That will be a challenge in itself.
You could just try that with the regular game for once.
Yeah, it's true.
Challenge yourself.
We've
with
been pretty
early
good
steps.
We've been pretty good about not we have a kind of we have a house rule that don't just jump to come. We have a house rule for that.
It doesn't work very well, does it?
It does. It doesn't. You've seen a lot of highlights recently. Have any of them mentioned it?
Highlights are filtered. I wouldn't base that on
I don't know why
highlights.
that's like the one. Anyway. Let's talk about some of the stories that didn't make it into the episode. Starting with the Xbox Games Showcase, which has been announced for June.
Ah, yes, the
E3
summer.
season.
Yes.
There's no E3.
That's why I like to call it E3 season still. It's like, we still call it the Ides of March, but Julius Caesar is not around.
But we know his ghost is haunting, and we have to make sure he's okay with.
What I like about this is they last year they did their game showcase, followed by a special presentation on Starfield.
Ah, yes,
which was their big game.
Oh, right. This.
Right.
This time, they're going to be doing that again. So they're going to be doing their showcase, followed directly by the something direct.
Yeah,
the
it's a
redacted
direct.
Direct.
A lot of people think it's going to be Call of Duty. I think
it's
what it was.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, it's going to be the redacted direct with this picture
of a big wolf,
and everyone's like, oh, so it's Call of Duty.
Cool.
And in fact,
there's just some proof of that, or there's already been some people who have leaked it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the entire video game industry has been leaked for the next 2 years, which is why they're just shutting down all of every dev studio you've ever thought of.
Yeah. So
right? Because otherwise, why would you get rid of people?
Later in the day, they were like, The Verge was like, it's the next installment of Beloved franchise, but sources familiar with the company's plans tell me that is indeed Call of Duty.
Okay.
And it's like the font and the logo and everything. People are like, yeah, it's Call of Duty. So they didn't do too good a job of keeping that secret. I don't know if they wanted to keep it secret.
I don't really think they were trying to. I think they were just like, if you put an obvious logo in.
One of the interesting things about this is going to be, then they've said that this is going to be the, hey, we've got Blizzard Activision now.
Mm-hmm.
Check out all these cool new games
Okay, sure.
that we're integrating into the larger Microsoft thing is going to be one of their big sort of talking points.
We're going to explore that strategy now, obviously.
Right. Yeah. Make sure they get their whatever $45 billion worth.
Absolutely. What's interesting too is because we goof a lot about Call of Duty.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, I think the reason that we do that as well is it's like we think it's ridiculous. Here's why I think it is, and I'm going to reiterate some things maybe I've said before, but I think we think it's ridiculous that so much attention is paid to Call of Duty because nobody in our immediate sphere of people plays Call of Duty with the same kind of fervor that it seems like other people in the world play Call of Duty. I don't think anybody here even buys the game on the regular. Right, like I'm not even among our extended friend group, like into the Desert Bus sphere, into like that kind of thing.
I think they just don't talk about it as much. Maybe
that might be it, but it really feels like when I hear people talking about, oh, I'm playing Elden Ring, or I'm playing Paper Mario, or I'm playing Minecraft, or like those kind of things, or I'm playing this cool indie game, or like that kind of stuff. This always rings so hollow with me. It's like we're talking about Call of Duty, and I'm like. It always ends up feeling like we have to tell you about this because if we don't, you'll forget to buy it. Like that's what it feels like to me.
That is partly how marketing works.
Right. But they don't have to like they're doing that because they want to get everyone hyped about the fact that a new one is coming out. But to me, it's like we want to tell you this because, hey, you haven't bought Call of Duty ever in your life, and you should do that because you haven't done it yet. And I have this odd sensation of like, this is not supposed to be my game, but why is it that it's not anybody's game for like the 20 or 30 or 40 people that I know and have talked to in the last year? Why did none of them play this game either?
So
you'd think there'd be at least one person who's really into it.
I have friends who play Call of Duty.
Okay.
I don't think it's a game people really talk about. So we run into this with a number of games just in news media, where there is a game that's actually quite popular, but maybe there's nothing really discussion going on news-wise. And so
Right.
A lot of people kind of are like, I don't think anyone plays this game. And then you get like these small pockets of friend groups who are like, no, but I don't think anyone plays that game. I could easily say I don't think anyone plays Fortnite because most of my friends don't play Fortnite.
Right.
But I know that's not true.
Right. And it's easy for us to make fun of Fortnite because it's like nobody in our sphere plays Fortnite. So every time there's a new Fortnite announcement, we always think it's very funny because it's like they're still talking about Fortnite.
Well, because
like
Fortnite has something to announce.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is kind of one of those games, as far as I can tell, that people talk about when it comes out, and then they don't anymore. And it's like World of Warcraft is the same thing. People talk when the new expansion hits.
Mm-hmm.
Elden Ring got a lot of talk for quite a while because there's so much content on it that people were still uncovering it and doing whatever. Baldur's Gate 3 is the only game I've ever played where if I barely breathe a word about it on the wind, 6 people show up because the game takes so long to get through that somebody is playing it.
Yeah.
It's also, I mean, I think, the real draw for Call of Duty has always been, is the multiplayer stuff, which, single player things tend to have more opportunities to kind of compare notes and people want to talk about it and say this thing. Whereas multiplayer, you might put tons and tons of hours into it.
Yeah.
But it's just, game is good and you are enjoying it. It's not necessarily something that news stories get written about.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who used to get on Call of Duty. I don't know about like recently, but anyway.
I mean, they'll probably check out that presentation and see if they want to pick up the new thing or not.
As we extensively established over the course of the whole the merger discussion and everything, Call of Duty is something that looms very large in the mind of at least the executives.
Mm-hmm.
in charge, and it is still, if not the highest, one of the largest franchises, both in terms of people playing it and also revenue. So
that
it is
sense of
not nothing.
If you make a new one, people are going to spend money on it, and then you're like, oh, we always know we can make money off of Call of Duty.
It's the kind of thing I would expect kind of a showcase to show up about.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's been, I think Capcom does that too sometimes, where it's like, oh, we're going to do a showcase after our showcase that really goes into, I don't know, Resident Evil or something. And you're like,
Right.
Great, I can stick around for the snippet portion to see if there's anything I like, and anyone who cares will stay behind. It's like when we have our meetings and only the magic people stay behind.
Yeah.
Apparently they will be the rumor or the information anyway about the event is they will be announcing a new Gears of War game.
Mm-hmm.
And then also information about Flight Simulator 2024, Avowed, and Indiana Jones, and The Great Circle, which I don't know anything about. But there's also an expansion coming out for Starfield, Shattered Space, which is supposed to be a cool deal. But anyway,
I hope so. I've after Starfield came out, the people that I know who've played it or who I listen to who've said they've played it, it didn't blow them away. So I hope the people who like it are excited about more of it.
yeah, I
Just
think
want people
there's
to
some
be happy
quality of
with the
life
games.
stuff they're improving. But here's a story that kind of was happening right when we were sort of writing these, and we sort of didn't end up talking about it, but it was a quite sort of interesting, and to be honest, it's almost like business news as opposed to video game news, because at this point, FaZe Clan, which, if you don't know, is a very large gamer group collective.
So big they have somebody who calls himself the CEO.
Yeah, they do. They do esports stuff. They also just do produce content. And they're one of the if not the largest of that kind. It's this interesting idea of it started out as a bunch of friends who were, I think, for people who were making Call of Duty videos. Speaking of Call of Duty, both just gameplay videos and doing trick shots and making fun content.
Right.
And they decided to sort of band together and do this, and then they did the gamer house thing, and then that house became gamer mansion, and they went there. I think they were one of the first esports, because they moved into content creation and then actually running esports teams. They were one of the first esports groups to actually go public, and which was one of those they went public and it was $500 million or something ridiculous.
Yep.
Which then became less quite quickly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Unfortunately, for various reasons. They've had people come and go and thing. But so anyway, the news that there's been sort of there's been kind of murmurings of different people being unhappy about what the situation is with them for a long time. And there's been any group of, these are esports and gamer types. There's been various scandals of various amounts over the years.
Yeah.
But there's been a bunch of stuff. And then just at the end of last year, the FaZe Clan company was bought out by a different company, and a guy who goes by FaZe Banks, who was one of the original four.
Okay.
Everybody is like FaZe something.
Right.
That's how they.
That's how you start a
identify
cult.
themselves.
Yes.
Yep.
But this guy FaZe Banks who was one of the original starters of the thing, but had kind of backed off, was brought in as CEO, and is basically clearing house. Basically, and so what happened? There was like no info. All their social media stuff,
Just quiet.
nothing happened. And then last week, they did a thing where they basically fired half their staff.
Oh, so you get rid of people who aren't performing. You get rid of people who are like, okay, this is like.
You get rid of people who aren't your friends.
No. Which is, so the interesting thing is, so they basically so this is my there's been stuff going on.
Sure.
But because these people are very much kind of, online type people
Yeah.
who are used to doing, YouTubes and stuff. So they're actually like posting videos of themselves talking and stuff. And so, so a bunch of creators got let go, some of which had been with them for a very long time.
Right.
And a lot of people got very mad about that, understandably, both the people themselves and, of course, their fans and all that kind of stuff. So FaZe Banks came back with a video, and he's basically, his position appears to be FaZe Clan started out as me and my buddies having fun doing this stuff. It got so big and so much stuff. We started doing, Pop-Tart or Hot Pockets integration and all these ads and stuff. And we brought in all these people, and I don't even know these people stuff. So we're just gonna they're doing what they're calling a reboot, and they're like, we're just gonna take it back. So basically, he's like, I'm firing everybody who isn't my friend, and we're just gonna be a group of friends again, which
Sounds a lot like what Heather said, but it isn't.
So speaking of, speaking as, we're working here. We're, Loading Ready Run. Obviously, we are a company, but we are a company composed of people who very much enjoy each other's company.
I have a question, Paul. Are we friends?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
I would say
Good
that
to
we're
hear.
friends.
Yeah.
Just want to be sure before the next
I
fire
would
happens.
say I would say that and obviously Loading Ready Run, especially when it started, was, a group of friends.
Yes.
Explicitly.
Yeah.
And then more people have been brought in over the years, and those people have become friends.
Yes.
But, I hope this is clear, the employment in the company is not dependent on whether I want to hang out with people.
Yes.
No, it's true.
No.
It's because I have really good skills of dark arts against YouTube.
Yeah. This might be a bit of like wiping the fog off the windows for some people. It's like, but we all don't hang out together on a regular basis either. Like we all
Well,
come
not
to
all the time.
Yeah, we all come to the same place, and we all, we might sit around for an hour in the friend zone or wherever, having conversations about stuff that maybe isn't work related, or we have conversations that are about things that are work related. That are very
we
casual.
used to hang out in more with some people that in a non-work context.
Yeah.
And then as we've gotten busier, that's been harder to do. I've worked at places where I've had people that I call work friends.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, we're friendly and we like hanging out, but we don't really hang out outside of work. And while all of those kind of work within Lure for me, I don't really call people who work at Lure my work friends.
Mm-hmm.
They're just friends.
Yeah.
So it's still a different vibe.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what I thought was interesting is seeing that happen, that kind of thing happen in a much larger, they're a publicly traded thing. They have, we're talking millions of dollars.
They have shareholders.
They have shareholders and stuff. And so
Do all the shareholders have to be their friends now too?
I don't know.
If you give somebody a lot of money, they tend to be your friend.
So
I don't like hanging out with those people.
Me neither.
So, there's this idea of like, of sort of, I don't know, that kind of like saying the quiet part out loud aspect, where it's like it's making sort of friendship with this guy making that be sort of the requirement for employment. Feels, it's like, yeah, you want to work with your friends, but also that seems a little weird. But I guess what he feels they need to do thing. It sounds like some of the creators, and I mean and as people in the chat mentioned, this isn't from like a house clearing point of view. In some cases, this may not be like, it's not like they got rid of all the people they got rid of were like they're underperforming people too. Some of the people they got rid of were very very popular.
Yeah.
But I don't know, this guy didn't like them.
Yeah.
Or they didn't, or not even he didn't like them. He just didn't know who they were.
Yeah, you're not aligned with my goal, and my goal is that I just wanted to create a company where I could work with my friends, and we could have fun, and we could goof around and do shit, and we don't have to like. And work is always going to end up being work, ultimately, right? Like that's what it is that there's always going to be the bits where you're like, God damn, I wish I didn't have to do X thing, and you end up having to do the thing because it's like sometimes in work there's just those work things that you have to do. Which sucks even for this job. It's like there's still those things where like, I wish I didn't have to work on this thing today, but I still have to do it, or problems will erupt. And if I can be generous to this guy, it was probably a sense of, I'm the CEO of this massive company and all this money's coming in, but I have to put up with all this bullshit. I know what I'll do is, what if I just push away all the bullshit so I can concentrate on having fun? And I bet you that was the motivation behind this, is that sense of like, but I'm the CEO of this multi-million-dollar company. What if I just get rid of all the bullshit? And it's like, I have news for you.
I feel like I've seen movies that go with the route that you're describing.
Yeah. You end up in a position of, you have to do the bullshit. And then you hate what you're doing worse because you got rid of the people who are handling that aspect of it for you. And maybe what you wanted to do, I saw Laserbeaks, I think, post this. Typically, you just take your friends away and you just go make them do something else. You'd be like, I built this big thing, and now what I want to do is just be like, I just want to cordon off myself and my buddies to do this thing, and we'll let everybody else run all the other crap, and I don't want to hear about it. Let us just do this thing. I just want to still be in charge, but you guys look after everything else.
I think usually those people aren't like the CEO of their companies and stuff, though. They're usually companies that got bought out by other things, and then you
like, I can walk away with my millions of bucks.
You don't really have that power. I don't know how I feel about the idea of I just fired a bunch of people.
Yeah. That's what that is. I want to have my cake and eat, or I want to eat my cake and have it too.
And I don't know anything about this group, so I don't want to really go anywhere beyond being neutral on it.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping we're going to see another, whatever the like Phoenix Second Light, where some new company that all the people who left Phase are going to create, and it's going to be called Aftermath. Aftermath Phoenix. Well, it's going to be called like After Phase, or like Phase 2. Phase 2
is a really good.
That would be a good name.
Yeah.
Phase 2.
I mean, well, and if this is really what it is,
with a PH instead of an F.
Maybe what should have happened was to say, what should have happened would have been to say, like, it's like, I'm going to spin off a huge chunk of this company into its own thing. And then they're going to be their own thing. They're going to run all this stuff and do whatever. And we might be closely allied with stuff, but now I don't have to think about them or do anything about them or do whatever. I'm going to take me and my buddies, who the entire world loves, because that's the reason $500 million ended up in the thing, because they love our faces and they want to all make out with us. I'm going to take us and do our own little thing, and then spin off this company to do its own, to do its whatever, and we'll just be allied with each other. And I'm like, that's what you would do if you were like, I give a crap about those people, is to set them up for their own success, to be like, you can keep working and then we can take advantage of the fact that you're still working. Laying a bunch of people off really seems like the more, and just being like, I'm just going to purge. It's like, that seems like the more drastic option, that maybe you didn't think things through far enough.
It's just like, you use the term cleaning house, but if you're cleaning a house and you get rid of a bunch of objects, those are just objects. You lay off a bunch of people, you've made life weird for a bunch of people. It just doesn't, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
Have you
I
ever?
don't know. There's just stuff about it that kind of makes me like, I don't know about this, but I also don't know enough about it. And
Have you ever cleaned house and you have to just brush a person off a chair?
It's just
I don't know,
Just
Beach. Have I
vacuum.
ever had to do that? I don't think I have.
No, I've never seen any tiny humans in our house. that
Yeah,
we've had
I
done.
don't think we have any borrowers in our house.
Yeah,
We should check.
that would be cute.
Because if we do, then I want to make them little tiny cupcakes.
I want to take care of them better. Yeah.
So, you have to be careful about that. There's certain types of of fairy folk.
Oh,
If you acknowledge their existence, they get mad and don't come back.
that's true. Yeah.
Oh, right. Some of them don't like being perceived.
Yeah.
But say you just did a $500 million IPO.
Okay.
What are you going to spend all that money on?
Oh,
Houses for my friends.
yeah, a bunch of secure some housing, secure some retirement, and
A Swarovski crystal encrusted 3DS?
Obsolete bling.
no.
It's a fat DS too. It's pink and it's a fat DS.
Yeah, no.
Oh, no, sorry. It's not a DS. It's a Switch OLED.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I see. It's no.
No.
It's a DS.
No,
fat.
it is a DS.
It's a
Sorry.
first gen
It's a
DS.
DS.
It is a
Yeah.
DS,
Yeah.
yes.
And it's how much money again?
15,000 pounds.
Right, and it's because that's not just blingy had to go with this. This isn't bejeweled or bedazzled. This is Swarovski crystals, which means something because they have the marketing.
Although they seem to, I don't know anything about them
Mm-hmm.
except that I always hear them associated with, we've encrusted this random thing with diamonds.
Yep.
That is definitely what they do.
I mean, they're not even diamonds. They're Swarovski crystals. They don't even say that they're
yeah,
diamonds.
they're not even.
Is that like a different? Yeah,
It's a
it's
very different thing.
Yeah.
But they for some reason got everyone to believe that was important and meant something. And I'm like, I'm sure it doesn't. It's
No,
just
even-
just fancy glass. Like
even
Boone
even if
33 says.
even if I had like money to spend on something really ridiculous, it wouldn't be that. I'd wanna like buy the giant Tears of the Kingdom Link statue and put it in my house or something silly like that.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that kind of thing than even, I don't know, bejewel my own 3DS.
I almost bought a Lady with a Cat statue when we were at the Child's Play charity auction, and I decided the better of that
Right,
because we
you
didn't really have a
told
place
me
to put
about
that.
that.
Yeah.
I put
Has-
that out of my brain for some reason.
Comes with 2 styluses and a power unit. Very good condition. Some light scratches on the screen.
I love that so much.
During
This is used.
during the Nintendo
Yeah, the
DS
fact that
era,
someone was clearly using it is kind of fun.
during the Nintendo DS era, you could get styluses all the time. I
Yeah.
have probably about 20 as free giveaways from Nintendo. In fact, I have the
Like it was just
Phantom Hourglass one that is in the shape of a feather.
it was just a pressure thing, right? The 3DS.
Well,
screen?
it's a resistive screen, so the stylus could naturally scratch the plastic on the
But-
screen over time.
But like the stylus is just a piece of plastic. There's
Yes.
nothing special.
There's
in it.
it's not capacitive. It's just resistive. It just registry. I use my pinky finger. Actually, I would do stuff all the time with it
Yeah.
because it'd just be like, "Ee," and it's
Yeah.
just good. Yeah.
The DS era is when everybody got screen protectors because we were all playing Owen Dawn, and that game will definitely
It will ruin a
in-
screen.
encourage you to ruin your screen.
I think it's funny because Owen Dawn for me was like, that was the killer app for the DS because I was like, I don't know if I want this. I don't know what would be the point of it. And then a friend of ours bought a copy and I was watching him play it and I was just like, this rules. I like this so much. So at that point, it's like, I guess I'm going to have to get a DS at some point.
Check this out.
Yes.
New update for. And now I was going to be like, ooh, what game do you think this is? But I mean, you can see the logo there or the developer there.
I mean, I don't even know who the developer is. So,
It's fine. It's like Pal World or something.
yeah.
Yes, completely not Pokemon.
You know, just tiny little
Look,
Pokemon.
there's new pals. It's
I mean, if you're gonna do this kind of game,
it's
then,
a frog
then
with a stick.
You're gonna have new
This guy, dude,
monsters show up all the time.
shoots things out of his butt.
Oh, it's Lucario, but he's
Oh, weird.
Chinese.
Oh,
Is this for the new? Wait, no. This
so
isn't
it's like, look at this weird mushroom guy. Now he's on fire with a using
So-
a flamethrower.
What's the story?
I don't know. There's new pals.
Yeah.
Wait, is that it? Like, I know they advertised that they were doing like an arena version or something during a thing a while ago. Are we going to talk about Pal World every time they get new pals? Because we don't talk about Pokemon every time they get new Pokemon. And I have some complaints.
There's
Do talk about Pokemon every time there's a new game.
No new game, not new
It
monsters.
means there's new monsters.
Not always.
All right.
I was mostly interested in the way that it's like. I mean, one of them is just a frog with a stick,
Yeah.
which I find kind of funny. But then again, of course, there's
I mean,
lots of
Pokemon has just
yeah.
like an ice cream cone.
And it's mostly the juxtaposition of like, here is this, fun mushroom guy. Let's light him on fire with
Yeah.
a flamethrower.
Yeah. It wouldn't be Pal World if it wasn't a massive tonal shift every time you looked at their marketing materials.
But
Yeah, I do like though. Pal World's getting a frog on a stick. Yep. Frog with a stick. Sorry, different thing.
Yeah, those are different.
Should
That
be
context
better.
is very different.
Yeah, Pokemon just has a bird with a leak. You're right. Good job,
it's true.
Wilco.
It's true.
Yeah, but when he evolves, he becomes that other one, and he gets like a shield.
Yeah.
Or a guy with the guy with the spoon, Alakazam.
Gets 2 spoons eventually.
Ooh. Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Or Sweater for short. I don't know that it is, but it's SWTOR. Sweator.
Is getting some new features in Game Update 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing some stuff which bringing some things very much associated with the Star Wars franchise. You can make your own farmstead on Dantooine, and there's the Spring Abundance Festival where you can collect seeds and dance and bake pies.
Sorry, isn't
and
the
do a-
Old Republic
and
an
do a-
old game?
Do a galactic egg hunt. Sorry.
Are you not? Why are you describing Stardew Valley?
KOTOR is the older of the games, and
Yeah,
Sweator is the newer of the older
It's the
games.
newer the old games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But also,
Star
you're
Wars:
still,
The Old Republic has been on.
still
it's an
describing Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
It's an MMO that's been around for 13 years.
So are these like can you do like moisture farms as well? Like, can I go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters?
Well,
didn't whine enough on that one,
this is Dantooine.
Ah, yes, okay.
Not
Tatooine.
Tatooine.
You
Not
know,
Tatooine.
definitely was not an error when Lucas was editing the goddamn thing. Yeah.
So yeah, so this is the BioWare, who was the original developer of it, passed it off to Broadsword a little while ago, who do Ultima Online, Dark Age of Camelot, a few other things, and they've been putting a bunch of updates. Like for instance, the last 7.4 patch added date night companion missions.
What does that
for you to
mean?
romance your companions?
Well, a date is when you go out with someone that you want to have like romantic
We should
and
do that.
contentions with. It would be really nice.
Yeah.
I would like that.
Yeah.
And usually you have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, you have fun.
But you said companion missions, but it's just romance. Like, it's just you're going on a date. It's not like I'm going to take so-and-so out and we're going to shoot womp rats in the... we're going to blast womp rats in the whatever the quote is that Luke says all the time. He and Leia are going to go out and shoot womp rats. And it's like...
Dates can take lots of different forms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
I will specify romance does not actually have to be part of the date. That is just kind of more
Yeah.
what people
If
see.
it's like-
but romance isn't for everyone, and that's okay.
It's like, we're on a date tonight. What are we going to do? Well, I thought we'd go meet some Bothans and steal the plans of the Death Star. It's like, oh, that sounds like fun. We should do that, you know? You're like, if that's what the date night is, then that's, a
mean-
thing. Calling it a mission seems a little weird.
If you want to go rob a bank as part of a date, I'd consider it.
You're bullseyeing womp rats. That's what you're doing back
Wanna
in
at
something
least see your
cavern
plans, though.
canyon.
I don't want any of this surprise bank robbery date.
There's
stuff.
also-
I
you
want
have to plan out a bank
I want to
robbery.
know what your plans are like. Not everybody thinks
Look,
that.
all those boys in Ocean's 11 were clearly dating each other.
Yes.
Yes, they all had that heist
It
that
was
they were
great.
planning together. They were all spending a
very
lot of time
cute.
with each other. Yeah.
They really needed to work on their communication a little bit more, though.
Yeah. Well, but they couldn't because Brad Pitt's mouth was always full. Part of the joke of the movie, he's always eating something. Anyway, yeah.
Thank you for explaining the joke.
Just letting people know that out
Yes.
there.
Makes it funnier when you do.
Also in 7.5, there's also missions with where you have to do a bunch of stuff working with a hut.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Not specifically Jabba, but just of the Hutt family.
Yes. Yeah.
Neat.
Jabba's dead.
Oh.
Not
in the Old Republic, he would.
Yeah, the Old Republic, he wouldn't have been. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know explicitly when this takes
Maybe
place.
there's like a tiny Jabba. Like he's 4 years
Oh,
old.
you have to deal with baby Jabba.
Following around his uncle, who's like the
I mean, they've got baby Yoda already.
Blorbo
Right?
the Hutt or something.
That's not Yoda.
I know it's not.
Yeah.
Yoda. I know it's not Yoda.
But
Okay.
no spoilers for those who. Yeah.
But a little baby hut, that could be a marketing gold mine.
So, a tiny worm.
Yeah.
Smush it.
That would radically change the future of the Star Wars long, long ago.
I don't think he's necessary.
Maybe not.
NBA 2K24 is getting into some issues. They
Fans are mad.
can you believe it?
How about that?
Oh no. What will they do? What are they angry about today?
So in the lead up to the development to the game's release, they showed off a bunch of the stuff for the card collection mode called My Team.
Oh,
one of the
right.
things-
They
one of
put
the-
cards in sports games now.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things. Yeah, if you haven't
Wait,
if you haven't
Wheeler
played,
can play sports games on his
Like,
stream?
you wouldn't know that cards and sports would go together for some reason, but I guess it's a thing now. Anyway, Paul, go ahead. Sorry.
if you
explain
haven't played any of the sports games, especially the 2K series recently, you might not. But the collecting cards and getting a thing, having loot boxes of players and all this stuff is a very big part of the game these days, as it has to be for everything, I guess. Anyway, there's this process where you have sort of collector levels as you go through. So as you play the game and grind out different things, you level up. And that means you open better things and you get rewards. And this kind of stuff.
Understood.
And they revealed that the top reward would be for season 6, which will be during April, will be a Kobe Bryant card.
Okay.
April is over.
Yes,
What happened?
they didn't do that.
Ah!
Well, that's not good.
Without
They-
warning?
Yeah, so they were like, they've decided that they're not going to do that card. Instead, you can choose from 2 of the previously released cards that were of a similar
What?
value.
Wait, you mean they just they announced a thing and they decided they weren't going to do it?
But they haven't explained really why.
As far as I can tell, they have not. Whether I don't know if it's some sort of
Like if it's a pivot away from Kobe, because it's kind of like, yeah, we shouldn't be like farming his corpse for, marketing material.
Yeah, but I feel like
That-
that's something you'd figure out before you announced it like a month before.
also that I don't think they would do that voluntarily.
No. But maybe his estate was kind of like, actually, we're uncomfortable with him being involved in this way anymore.
Yeah, maybe there's some dispute with his estate, or maybe there's some other aspect to it. But whatever the case, so the problem is though, of course, they announced people had you got to really grind out to get up to the top level of these things, because there's seasons things, resets.
And you probably would have been looking forward to
And then
getting
you're
that as a reward.
He's a extremely popular player. He's been on the cover of the game multiple times.
Yeah.
People are really into it, and then they were like, yes, 2K strives to deliver the very best, NBA 2K24 My Team experience to the community. Please note that a change to a reward has occurred. Nice passive voice.
Yeah.
A change to a reward has occurred.
Yeah.
Players who
Those
achieve
goddamn nanites.
Players who achieve a top collector's level will now receive an option pack for 2 picks out of our 10 previously released 100 OVR cards. We appreciate players' dedicated time and effort throughout the year to achieve this reward, and 2K is committed to ensure players continue to earn valuable content. The players that are currently available, also last season's
Right.
top one, which was Yao Ming, is also not available. Like is not one of the 10 that you can get.
Interesting.
It's just like that's kind of a crappy thing to do to people after you're already doing it. And yeah,
I mean, that's clearly like they knew how much it was going to piss people off that they said, we'll give you 2 cards instead of just 1.
well, you get a choice of 2 cards. You get a choice of one of 2 cards.
Oh, I see. Oh, fair enough. Well, that's not as...
It's
Seems
just
like you
it's
just-
the other weird thing is that previously, like the Yao Ming card
Right.
for the previous season, they actually kept secret
Ah.
until people got there and then revealed it. And this one they revealed early, which seems weird. So there must have been some sort of licensing or whatever, some sort of
Yeah.
issue came up that they had to immediately pull the plug on it.
You'd think you could just build a game about basketball.
I think that's in there too.
Somewhere mixed into this?
Well, not in this story, but it's in the game somewhere maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that the likenesses and personalities or that people don't want to have like the players in the game.
Oh, sure.
I think I
So
think that's
I have
legitimate.
played
The
a
fun
lot.
thing is if you have a basketball player in your basketball game and you're not allowed to use them anymore, they're not there anymore. There's no sprite, but the ball will follow an invisible entity around.
that sounds
so
like fun.
Ghost basketball.
People would prefer that, so you could never tell who you were passing to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Invisible stats.
used to play a lot of. They could have skins like that, where the guys are just wearing. They're just wearing
sheet.
an outfit that looks like a basketball court.
Hmm.
I used to play a lot of basketball games in my youth, not by choice, let me tell you, but I played a lot of them, and they had a bunch of players in them, and the games were all about basketball. There was nothing in them about collecting cards and trading with your friends or drawing things out of whatever. It was just basketball, and it was.
They were leaving so much money on the table.
And I realize now that was very refreshing.
I have a question.
And I didn't want to play these games, but it was now I'm
was-
thinking I guess I had a good time doing it.
Was there any sport you played that was not against your will?
Like as a video game or in real life?
No, in real life. An
Oh.
actual sport in real life. Was there ever a sport you played that wasn't against your will?
I liked Taekwondo well enough for a while.
I like the idea. I like just your phrasing there. Where you're like, when I was a kid, I played lots of basketball games.
Yes.
Which
Not by choice.
Well, no, I was gonna say and maybe the audience can back me up on this. That phrasing made me immediately realize that you were talking about basketball video games.
Yes.
If you say when I was a kid, I played a lot of basketball,
Yes.
that would make me think that you had actually gone outside and played basketball.
Yes.
But
let's be honest.
but saying I played a lot of basketball games.
I was at a lot of organized sporting events. That is yes. Good point, James. That is a thing that I
Are
did.
there any video
I did do
games
that
you
by
played
choice,
that
too.
are well, not video games, but yeah, you probably never played a sports game for fun.
I mean, by and large, for the longest time, sports games were what my brother wanted to play and my parents were happy with that because they were 2 players. It meant you could both play a game at the same time. You wouldn't shut each other out, which meant that he would get angry when I beat him, and he would tease me and gloat about it when I didn't win. So sports.
I mean, if we're talking basketball, of course, there's the basketball video game that everybody who doesn't like video or sports video games likes, which is NBA Jam.
Yeah.
NBA
Yeah.
Jam was good.
Jam was great.
We also played a lot of Shaq Fu, which
might not have been like
really
a perfectly
basketball
it might not have been like a
specifically,
super
but,
authentic simulation
we
kind
were
of game.
really into it though. The idea that you ran around on fire like that was weird and fun.
I liked Michael Jordan Chaos in the Windy City. That was a good one.
Never heard of it.
That and Barclay's Shut Up and Jam.
Oh, Barkley
Gaiden.
Shut Up and Jam, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was Barclay Shut Up and Jam Gaiden, the sequel.
Oh, I never played the sequel.
That's okay. It was really good.
Well, if you're looking for video games,
Mm-hmm.
I've got a new exciting place for you to look at.
What? do you
It's
mean
this
by that?
up and coming video game website that you may not have heard of.
Okay.
It's called LinkedIn.
No, I'm pretty sure that's not a gaming website.
You would be
I'm
wrong.
pretty sure that's a scam.
I want to believe that they're starting their own app store for iOS. But what is actually happening?
They are rolling out a series of thinking-oriented games for people to play in the browser on their website. There's one called they're called Queens, Pinpoint, and Cross Climb.
Is this New York Times type stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Queens is Sudoku, Cross Climb is like a trivia game, Pinpoint is like a word association game. And the idea is that, they're like, this is our foray. This is day one into our foray of games. We can't wait to see where this journey is taking us. So,
Does LinkedIn remember what it is anymore?
because the
Because
idea,
it definitely doesn't act like it.
well, because the idea,
Is it
and
going
this
through
is
a
where
crisis?
it gets in a place where you probably don't want it. But it's LinkedIn, right? So what their whole thing obviously is people's career and business, and their importantly their like business network.
Yeah, their social
Yeah.
life is their job, and their job is their social life, which actually sounds
So-
really, really familiar now that I think about it.
So what would be better than playing Sudoku? What if you could play Sudoku and all of your business contacts could also be playing Sudoku, and you could, find out measure your skill level against each other?
I don't really need that to be part of my employment checking
Christ, that's
end
a
of
lot of
things.
pressure.
Also, Sudoku is
know.
not the game people should be playing. It's Picross and nothing else. Refuse
Yeah.
to play Sudoku anymore.
Yeah, I like Picross.
Picross.
You could play a trivia game and then you
What
find out
if
how well your boss did on the
instead of
same trivia game.
Playing any of these games, I just send them a picture of my game stats off my Switch and let them know how many hundreds of hours I've put into other games I actually like.
I'm excited about that. And this is just day one of their foray into thinking-oriented games. So, who knows? Who knows? The sky is the limit.
It's funny, Maricat points out the connection between this story and the CEO of Fuse firing everybody that he didn't want in his job. And it's like, so Phase. You could, I'm thinking about Fuse so much these days. There could be, those could have been the same story. That's just like, oh, and then so-and-so got fired from a company because he turned to be better at Queens than his boss.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you never asked during any of like the points where I was like, hey, you have to hire me now, but I could have shown you the hundreds of hours I've put into Hyrule Warriors across all 3 games if you want. If that will, I don't do change your mind.
I gotta level with you. I don't think that would have made a big impact.
I could show you how really good I am at Hatsune Miku games. Very good at those.
I mean,
to be honest, like that actually has had relevance in your employment, considering
Yeah.
that's one of the jobs that you do is run
Rhythm
Rhythm
game
Cafe.
section? Yeah.
if you put that on your resume, that might come in handy that if somebody's advertising an entry-level job that requires at least 10 years of experience with Hatsune Miku.
I love the idea of like 10 years of experience with a game.
Yeah, with Tears of the Kingdom.
Especially if it's a game that it's not like an MMO or something, but it's like something that it's like, wait, you've been playing that game for 10 years?
Yeah.
I'm almost at the end.
Yeah. 10 years experience Minecraft.
There's a new update coming out for Diablo 4. And now, if you want to know what the big push for this update is, I'll give you a hint. It's in the name of the update. Loot Reborn.
Oh, great.
Money.
I'm assuming similar to like a Realm Reborn in Final Fantasy
So
XIV.
it's about low order optimization techniques.
Exactly.
Thank you. Okay, I got it.
Basically, they are. There's a lot of people are grumbly about how they do loot in Diablo 4. So they're going to do a whole revamp of the system. They're going to have basically the biggest change is going to be it's like basically they're lowering the drop rates of everything, but making it all better. So you don't have like a whole bunch of useless crap filling up your
So
inventory.
instead of a 5% drop of something, it's going to be a 3% drop. At least it'll be better stuff.
But it'll be better stuff.
I
Yeah,
see.
is the
Okay.
general idea.
That's not bad.
Sure.
I like where's this? Yeah, I like in this article. It's like so loot drops will happen less often, happen less often, and have fewer affixes, which are like the modifiers. But those affixes will become more powerful, easier to understand. There'll be fewer of the arcane conditional effects like bonus damage against non-injured elite enemies. And the gem system is also being streamlined, as has the Codex of Power. But I like the aim across is there to across the board to reduce busy work for the player. In this article, ad break. Next paragraph. It wouldn't be Diablo if there wasn't some arcane complexity.
Fair.
So there's 2 new crafting systems that they're adding. Tempering, which allows you to collect and add additional affixes to your weapon, and masterworking, which is an endgame system that supercharges your weapons using rare resources from a new dungeon type called the Pit of Artificers. So anyway, along with the loot changes, Hell Tides are getting a major revamp. So, good for them.
Yeah,
I
glad
guess.
to hear it. They needed it.
I love the namings of things in especially in Diablo. Yes. Anyway, they received a lot of criticism for the last season. The third season had a lot of issues with how they were doling out loot and stuff. So the hope is that this will be good. The fact that it's called Loot Reborn is like the name of the expansion. I find just kind of
Yeah, that's
name of
just
the
like
update is
we're
like,
just gonna put it right on the
right.
cover.
yeah, no, I mean that seems fair.
Yeah. I mean, why else do you play a game like that? Part of the fun of Diablo is killing anything and then seeing what did they drop and then what's the thing I can do to change my loadout. And the Barbarian says all gear is better and there are systems to get you the best gear faster. And it's the idea of games having that loop built in. That's like you're constantly fighting stuff to get loot so that you can evaluate to be like, is that going to get me to the build that I want? The idea that there's always like a best gear in the game, I love that in single player games when there's just like a thing, like in like Zelda games, right? It's like there is a best gear thing.
right.
When you're playing a game that has like multiple classes,
And multiple ways,
multiple ways to play this classes,
ways
it
to
feels
play.
weirder about like, well, what makes the best gear?
So that at that point, what you're looking for is the best gear for your class or the best gear for the kind of loadout you want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, more bigger numbers
Yeah, more bigger numbers always
is
helps.
always good.
It's just not like, oh, you get the whatever tunic and now you're done.
Exactly, yeah.
My favorite in Diablo 3, and I think I actually did like a stream of this from like my home at one point, just to sort of as a test thing, because I totally lucked out in my playthrough of Diablo 3.
Right.
And really early on, I got I randomly picked up this pair of like lime green pants that were just insanely powerful. Like they were like because they were like
Does 25% blinding damage.
well, it was like it's like does percent damage to everybody in a vicinity around you,
Right.
But it was a percentage of like your maximum damage.
Oh, okay.
So it scaled, and so I was like, I'm like a level 50 guy wearing these pants I got at the very beginning of the game.
Yep.
But nothing else is better because these things are now doing ridiculous. And I was just like not attacking anybody. I
Yeah.
would just walk into a group and just stand there, and they would all die before they could actually do anything to me.
Die of your fashion crimes.
I was just like, this can't be like, am I just the world's greatest player at this game, or what? This can't be how you're supposed to play this.
I when I played Diablo 1 on the PlayStation 1 stories. Anyway, when I played Diablo 1, we beat up the butcher, and the butcher dropped a weapon. It was the gnarled root. And I was like, oh, that was legendary in the game, right? And so my girlfriend, she's like, I don't want this. I'm like, I will take it because I am a beating up kind of dude. I'm playing in this game. And so I played the whole game with the gnarled root because it was just like every other weapon that got dropped, she'd be like, why don't you take that? And I'd look, I'm like, it's not better then. She's like, it's better in these other ways. I'm like, I get that, but it's not better at the thing that I do, which is hitting a person over the head with a gnarled root. That's the thing that I'm really good at. So I'm just gonna keep this thing.
It's a narrow use case,
It
but
is.
you gotta.
Turns out it's what I do. So yeah, she was frustrated because she's like, you should try different things. And I'm like, or I can keep hitting them with
You're
this
not.
thing.
You usually like to like kind of like find your lane and just stick to it in a video game. Though.
Yeah, Secret of Mana's the same way, right? It's like you play Secret of Mana, you can upgrade all the weapons, but eventually you realize I should just upgrade the 2 weapons I might use the most, and then just stay on those.
That's the one where you can upgrade your fists by punching things, right?
You can
Like
get
everything has a level. Like you have a weapon. Like if you have a sword, it has a level until you get another sword.
it has it has
Or-
fist weapons, like it has like knuckles, right? Essentially, like that kind of thing, and you can beat the crap out of stuff to the point where it's like you got so good with those that those weapons have leveled up, and then you buy what is supposed to be the next level, but it's actually lower than the things you've been using because you've been using them so long. Yeah. Pox Falls. There was that the name of your pants?
Could have been. I don't
Okay.
remember, but.
I like Pain Waiters though. That's
Pain
good.
Waiters is fun.
And finally,
Do we really name our pants?
if they're magical pants,
I should name my pants. I have some nice pants.
And finally, now this is the fact that this game exists. I don't think is news. Funko Fusion
Oh yes, I did see. That.
is a new game that's coming out. Funko, as in Funko Pops. The main reason why I marked it as a well, maybe you can guess the main reason why I marked it as a product. Let me switch over to the trailer here.
I have waited. Misshapen in the darkness. I have watched your worlds with envious eyes.
Holy shit.
I will be ready. And in countless forms, I will strike.
It's just playing through my speaker or my microphone, so it might be kind of quiet.
And your people will suffer. And then all your power will be mine. Get ready, Freddy.
The sheer number and breadth
Yes.
of licenses.
How did they get them?
Well, they probably already had them a little bit for actually making the Funko Pops.
Right.
So at least they would have had the contacts.
And also specifically, and the article that I saw was in also, it's like Hot Fuzz.
Yeah. Hot Fuzz. Yeah.
I mean, awesome, but
Also, yeah,
okay.
it has the Universal logo over all those Universal properties.
maybe.
Because
Yeah.
at that point, you really only have to talk to one group.
I think
for-
that's
for
why
the thing.
Universal is listed as like a major sponsor. It's like you talk to them and be like, can we use all of these things in a video game, but they're in the Funko style? But what I'm sure Universal's like, yes, write us a check. I'm sure that was probably very easy to get.
The comparisons I've obviously like the sort of Lego game franchises.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar, but yeah. To be honest, I don't even quite know what kind of a game it is. Some sort of third-person thing, but anyway.
It's impossible to tell because there were so many set pieces, and it's like, how
Yeah,
big are the
some of
worlds
it-
you're
is it-
exploring?
Is this cutscene or is this actually? Yeah.
I do want to know if they have a character creator,
Yeah.
only because then I could make very demon versions of all my friends in the weird Funko thing if I wanted to. But
Giant-headed versions.
anything in the Funko Pop universe that has like a person who's supposed to have human eyes, I don't like the way they look.
Those the black.
Yeah, the weird. Yeah, no, it's once you put in like a person who has like, I don't know, a visor on their head or like sunglasses or something to cover the dead soul's eyes, I can feel a little bit better about it.
I'm trying to, like, Molly's already brought it up, but hi Molly, and I'm kind of in the same space because it was like, you thought that, like Molly said, it's like they saw Ready Player One and went, oh, that seems desirable, let's make one. And it's like, the Torment Nexus. And I was kind of like, you thought that Ready Player One, like the game in Ready Player One would look like it does in the movie Ready Player One. No, it actually looks like this. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's how it would
we
play
have
out.
all of these like we had Smash Brothers for a long time, where it had like that crossover thing, and we've more recently gotten things like the Nickelodeon one and different stuff trying to do that kind of thing. But we've had Fortnite trying to do the metaverse thing, and I feel like we've there's just this, everyone who wants to try to do that now.
Yeah. The more franchises you get, the better. Anyway, that's all the random bits of news that I had this week. But thank you very much for joining us. And if you haven't seen this week's episode of ChillPoint, you should go check that out. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's probably somewhere near this video on the YouTube page.
I hope you enjoy the rest of the month of Meh.
Yeah. If you are looking to back us, by all means, you can do that here on the LRR Video Games channel on YouTube, but you can also do it on Twitch. You can do it through Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, and you can hit up our store.loadingreadyrun.com. That's where you can find the merch.
And if you join the LRVG YouTube channel as a member, you will get a shout out at the end of the episode of ChillPoint. We've got
Yeah, it doesn't mean you have to get through the entire after chat, because I've taken away the ability for you to just jump to things somehow. Don't worry about it.
So anyway, thanks for watching, and we will talk to all y'all later. Bye.